order this special board meeting of the Lynn Benton Lincoln Education Service District Board of Directors for November 4th, 2025. Welcome, everyone. Let's go by zone so that will be an easy way to order things. So zone 1, is that Lori?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, sorry. I get confused
That's
sometimes
okay.
with the numbers. Okay, so um if you want to go ahead and start it off, Eddie, and then we will go from there by numbers. Or no, that was you, Bill. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I taught middle school today, so my brain is always a little bit scattered after after a
Got
day of
it.
teaching. Sorry. Okay, Bill, go ahead if you want to kick it off. Eddie is number 7. I
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
so go ahead and kick it off, Bill.
okay. Bill Hayes, Zone 1.
At 2, I believe, is Lori. So go ahead and skip to 3.
Michael Thompson, Zone 3.
Right, and Denise Hughes Tappan, Zone 4.
Amy Vetter, she, her, board director is Zone 5.
Miriam Cummins, she, her, ella, a board director for Zone 6.
Eddie Symington, Board of Directors, Zone 7.
All right, and I'm not, Jason, if you want to kick it off with staff introductions.
Sounds good. Jason Hayes, Superintendent.
Nancy
And then
Griffith, Assistant Superintendent.
Tim Jones, Executive IT Officer.
Rocco Luer, Executive Financial Officer.
Christina Wonderly, Executive HR Director.
Lisa Shane, Executive Assistant, Board Secretary.
Okay, I believe that's everyone. Okay, so let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's get this going. So, Jason, if you just want to lead in.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Amy. So just to kick us off here, we've been, as you saw in your email, we've been working over the past 18 months to put together this Tyler Technologies contract. And this is a multi-year contract that converts our Infinite Visions business software from an on-premises hosted version where it sits on our own server to a cloud-based platform. And so it's been quite a process that Rocco and Tim have gone through to get us to this point. Lots of challenges with it. We have been working with Tyler Technologies for well over a decade, but this represents a little bit different departure in that it's going to the cloud, and that also the contract is a multi-year contract, where in the past we've really just been going on a month-by-month basis with this, which is actually more unusual than what we're entering into. Because the contract amount exceeds $150,000, that's the threshold for my authorization. It's presented to the board tonight for formal approval that gives me authorization to sign the contract. And so this is just a standard step in our procurement process for anything of this scale. The contract represents not only LBLESD, but also our 12 component districts and our 28 non-component districts that rely on Infinite Visions through this shared model. And I do want to share, before I give a chance for Rocco and Tim to share any details about this, that just in terms of process, because we have a newer board configuration here with new folks, that bringing an item of this magnitude to the board in a special meeting is kind of unusual. Typically, I would plan to review something like this over the course of 2 or more meetings, 2 or more regular meetings that allow for deeper discussion and review. In this case, it's a little different in that the timing's been challenging. We honestly weren't sure when we would have a completed contract from Tyler to be able to bring to the board. And so it's been a little challenging to bring something and present it for like a first reading and then come back for a second reading. And then we got into a spot where we really don't want to lose momentum. There is, in terms of implementation, there's a calendar to put into an implementation process, and that calendar is rapidly filling, and even a 2 or 3 week delay if we would waited for the regular board meeting puts us potentially behind schedule with a project that we're already behind schedule. I wish that we would have been here a year ago asking the board for approval for this, but it just hasn't worked out that way. So everyone's pretty eager to complete the conversion. I don't know, maybe eager is not the right way of putting it. People want to see the conversion get done and work towards that, but there's always change is hard, and we'll just have to work through the process with that. At this point, though, I want to pause and see if Rocco or Tim want to add anything about the details of this. It really is pretty standard software contract language. Tim can talk about that a little bit, and we'll go from there. We can see what questions you might have, and then we just need to look for a motion for you to approve the contract and giving me, the superintendent, authorization to sign the contract. So that's really the overview. So Rocco, Tim, what else do you have?
Jason, real quick,
Oh, yeah.
you explain, as we have a lot of new board members, can you explain a little bit more about what Infinite Vision does for us?
Oh, yes. Thank you. So actually, why don't I turn it over so you've listened to me long enough that you can listen to Rocco for a little bit and he can explain it because it is business software. So
yeah, so Infinite Visions is the business software that our component districts and the 28 non-component districts that are on our system we use. So it is our accounting system. It is where we process transactions. It's where we process payroll. It's where we keep our books, our inventory. It's essentially really the comprehensive system that does all of that stuff for us. So just for a little more context on this, we've been with Infinite Vision since 2008. The core version, which is what we're on right now, is getting to be end of life. Tyler is still supporting it, but all new features, all new functionality that they're doing only goes into the cloud version. And as more time goes on, each additional patch we get to keep the core version up to date has more and more problems with it because they're just not putting the development time into it that they are anymore. So for the most part, most districts, even for those of us who don't want to learn the new interface on there, are sort of eager to move on to the new product. And then just for general context, as we see the $1 million a year looks like a really big figure. The actual commitment of the ESD itself, we do about $50,000 of that $1 million comes off of our bill. The entire rest of the bill is paid for by other districts. We just hold the contract on their behalf.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yep.
And I mean, so a couple of questions, sorry, and then we'll.
Oh, that's good.
Open it up to others. Sorry, don't mean to dominate. So firstly, it's more secure in the cloud. The data is more secure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's kind of twofold where, again, with them not putting the effort into the security patches like they used to, there's a bigger opportunity for things to get overlooked or missed in their process of making sure that the product's updated. And when it comes to anything like this, multi-million-dollar companies, and Tyler might even be a billion-dollar company, have a lot more resources to put into cybersecurity than we do. So they have a more secure environment than we do, and the data really is safer there.
That's a good
So I have
question.
a question. So I'm looking at all the schools that we provide or that Tyler provides. Is all the schools listed on that contract, the school districts, are they the ones that we also hold this contract on their behalf?
Yeah,
Yes.
so the contract is strictly between Tyler and LBL, and then we have intergovernmental agreements that go between LBL and all of the districts.
Do they pay us and then we pay on their behalf? Is that how it works?
Correct, but just to make sure we understand, that Tyler bill is ours. Tyler doesn't deal with the districts at all. They can't send the district a bill. It is strictly with us. So we do bill them. They pay us for our service on there, and then we pay the Tyler bill.
Okay, I'm just wondering what other school, what Lane ESD is doing, or maybe they don't provide the same services that we do on this.
They don't. So
Okay, because I'm
we're one
seeing
of
Springfield and all those areas.
yeah. So we're one of three ESDs that hold
Okay.
so like the larger contract with Tyler, where we each have component and non-component districts on. Most of Lane's districts are on Power School. Springfield didn't want to be on Power School, and so years back they signed up with us to get the Tyler product through us.
Mm.
And this is part of like, obviously it's part of our services to our 12 member districts, but this is like part of our entrepreneurial business ventures for offering the service to the other districts for a fee.
Correct. Yes.
So if there's an issue in iVisions then, or this new software that we're learning, the new program, does that mean like any of these districts then contacts LBL, or do they contact Tyler? If an issue arises, who gets to problem
So
solve?
traditionally, we have run a help desk where we take all tier 1 problems, and then we interface with Tyler for anything that goes above and beyond that. The more time that's gone on, Tyler has to deal with more and more of the issues. So a lot of what's happening was we'd get a ticket in for our desk on there, and we're almost immediately turning around and doing a ticket with Tyler. Under the new contract, support will go directly to Tyler, so they won't have any help desk functionality through us. We do, however, maintain user groups and functionality. So part of what our team does is to go out and learn the new interface so that we can both train and assist districts in trying to get into the cloud version. But help goes direct to Tyler now.
Okay.
And then adding to that, Miriam, is that for our component districts, we will provide an extra level of service that our non-components wouldn't get.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So if one of our component districts called the business office and said, "Hey, I'm struggling with this," we are going to work to have our team go first so that they can really be experts in this and be able to help our component districts out. But in terms of a formal help desk for the non-components, we're not doing that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, speaking of that then, given that in the past districts have had more interactions with us in terms of the help desk, what I guess is Tyler's reputation in terms of like customer support, especially in terms of their own help desk? Because I want to make sure this is not going to be more cumbersome for districts, you know?
Rocco, you want to take that one? Because they've been
Yeah, sure. It is actually over the past several years, Tyler has done quite a bit to up their game on help desk. I think particularly if you went back 5 to 10 years ago, Tyler was not very good direct. Over the past several years, they've gotten better and better. They are, if they're not at $1 billion on there, they're darn close to it. They run this product across the US. So they have a really high level of customer support. When we look at routing our tickets through to them, it is not even a rounding error to them as to what they receive in total. We still do hold the contract with Tyler, though, so to any extent that somebody isn't giving the service that they would look for on there, we are the party that then leans on Tyler on their behalf.
Okay. Okay. And then sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Denise.
Okay, my other question is, like we hear so much these days about, like information breaches and things like that. But I think what I'm hearing is that by moving to the cloud, this would be more secured, right?
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
what you think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So while, for an ESD, we're really well staffed for as far as a cybersecurity team goes. Tyler has dozens, if not 100 or more cybersecurity staff that work for them.
Okay.
And those were really my only two things. I emailed Jason directly about the security and liability, only because I'd recently been involved in a contract where if there was a security breach, the liability was on us as the user, not them as the provider, which was kind of shocking and actually ended up resulting in a no deal for us. So I'm glad to hear Jason cleared that up for me. And the other is it's just good for me to hear about the customer service, because as a daily user of this system, and my past experience with ESD's help desk and how helpful they have always been, I'm just hopeful that level of support will continue for districts.
Yeah, and Tyler, I think it's been 4 years now. They implemented customer success managers that actively go and talk to the people using the product and make sure that they're meeting the standards that the customers are expecting out of them.
I do have one last question. Because I heard you say, Jason, that it has been kind of like you wish we had had this like earlier the contract to approve. What was the delay? Why wasn't it? Was it on Tyler's side that was delayed? Like,
Yeah,
I just want to understand.
Yeah, we
Rocco could
couldn't
talk
get
through
the full contract to them. There were several things that had to happen sequentially. So the thing that took the longest amount of time was for Tyler to give us pricing. We spent over a year asking them for a price that they would stick to. Once that happens, we had to get approval from our component districts to switch over. Then we had to get all of the non-component districts to switch over. Once we had that, we had to roll out pricing with IGAs to all districts. They all had to positively respond so that we had the 3-year contract with each district. We forward that on to Tyler. Tyler then had a next step on there where we had to sign novations. And it's basically any district they had that had a one-off deal with them, basically canceled all the one-off deals so that it's strictly with us. And it was only after the final novation went in that Tyler would forward us the contract, which happened 2 weeks ago. So we've been sitting sort of waiting for this, and we knew it was all going to happen sequentially. But like Jason said, Tyler would be happy to say, if it takes you 2 months to get it through, that's fine. We have stuff to do. We just don't want to lose any momentum because we really want to get the conversion done.
Okay. Yeah, it just sounds like it was a lot on Tyler's side to get this to us, and I do hope, and again, this is my opinion, that customer service doesn't reflect the support that we have for component districts. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a concern because if it takes this long to get prices, I don't want that to also be a reflection of the customer service that they're supposed to also be providing. We're also a customer to them, you know?
Yeah.
Tim,
did you have something?
I was going to say, and I know part of the slowdown too was that the 3 ESDs that have contracts with Tyler, Tyler was trying to standardize as much as possible between our 3 contracts. So while they got to a certain point in the negotiations with us, then they'd go to the other ESDs and negotiate with them and then come back to us. So it was kind of in this circular place for a while.
Okay.
The other aspect to that as well is that Rocco and Tim did a great job of pressing on the idea of what is the street price, what is a price that is consistent so that a component district, if they called Tyler up, or a non-component district, if they called Tyler up, or if they called another ESD, they would get the same price. And, in the past, when Tyler started in business in Oregon, back in 2006, 2007, 2008, in that time frame, they kind of gave prices to different districts, and if people would push back, they would give a different price. And it was a little like that idea, when you get on an airplane sometimes and you're sitting next to somebody and you've asked them, like, how much did your ticket cost? And they might have a completely different price than you paid for your plane ticket. And so Rocco and Tim were really trying to mitigate that so that we didn't end up in this circular thing with any of our clients to say, why are we working with LBL? We could have gotten a better price over there. So it just was such an iterative process. And that's what took so much time,
Mm.
you know.
How
And
did-
then when you get into you need this approval and this approval, and I can tell you that hounding administrators sometimes for a DocuSign can take a while. So
Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds as though Rocco and Tim especially, did quite a bit of work in terms of getting everything together to bring
absolutely.
it to the table. So, really
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm kind of curious, either Tim or Rocco, like how does this change? Um, I guess how you would typically do your, work. How is this helpful?
Uh,
Is this a
it
game changer?
it doesn't have to change anything at all. So you can still access it through the current user interface that everybody's used to. There's some opening menu that's different, but everything else in the background can look the same way you do it. They also, though, have the cloud interface, which is built to work with the new product that has advanced functionality in it. Our team, we go first on conversion, and we are mandating for our team. We are going directly over to the cloud interface because we
Okay.
want to make sure that we are out in front to help people get through. But even so, they're all just accounting software. If any one of our people walked into a district next week and they said we use PowerSchool, they'd say, "Great, I'll have to spend the next 60 days figuring out where the menu is on there," and they'd be able to function.
Okay.
And thank you, Denise, for acknowledging the work that Rocco and Tim put in. There's a tremendous amount of back and forth that went into it, and they both did a great job of getting it to this point.
Yes, thank you so much. Do we know like how they calculated pricing for the different district? Was it like based on size? I know that there looked like some of the districts were charged at the base rate and then some added additional services, so they had a higher price.
Yeah, it is size adjacent. It follows along with it. The larger districts, as you scale up, they don't continue to do a linear scaling of the price. And the actual method that they have is a little bit behind the screen as to how exactly do they come up with their price. But we did go through and point out a couple of mispricing that they had where we pointed out like, you're literally, here's a district with 1,100 students. You're looking at charging them less than this district with 900 students because of the way you did the break in pricing. And so we had to kind of go through a couple of iterations to get that in a space where it looks equitable across all districts.
Thank you for that. Any additional questions?
I guess I have one other, and this is from a financial standpoint, especially hearing about all these different budget cuts and what's happening at the state level and, and the federal level as well. So this is a large sum. And I wondered just in terms of our own budget, like, is there anything that we need to think about in terms of how this might, like cause like a negative impact on our own budget?
No, there's not. They're of the $1 million contract on there. Only 50,000 is actually the ESD. And it's actually a little bit cheaper than the core version was because when they went through repricing, they used to price ESDs very, very harshly. So pricing went down, and the rest of the cost gets borne by the districts who are using it. And even for our own component districts, we pay for it out of tier one. The increase in price in year one is not, I mean, it might be a percentage or two north of what their normal annual increases were anyway. We did really pay a lot of attention in trying to make sure that there was not an abrupt change in price for the districts. You will see the contract has in there that there's 7% increases in year 2 and 3, and that's because Tyler does need to get the price up to standard cloud pricing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Question. Well, if there aren't other questions, the action that we're looking for is for you to approve the contract and give authority for me to sign the contract, and then we will be off and running.
I move to approve the Tyler Technologies contract.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the Tyler Technologies contract. Any discussion? Further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against say no. Fantastic. All right, it has been unanimously approved to approve the Tyler Technologies contract.
And now,
Thank you
do
all.
we need a second motion to authorize Jason to sign it?
Do we?
It's probably with what's in by the fact that we have a recording here, I think it's fine to do that. So yeah, I will sign on behalf of the district if everybody's okay with that.
All right.
Okay. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
In order to save people time, I will let you read the important dates on your own, and then I will go over them at the upcoming meeting later this month. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your Tuesday evening on a day that we don't normally have a meeting to get this taken care of so that we can get that switch over going.
Appreciate it, everyone.
Adjourn the
Yeah, thank
meeting
you, everyone.
at 6:28.